Welcome back to our weekly streaming update, and we have a lot of news to cover today, including a few large IPTV services being shut down. And I don't know if you guys remember this ad right here. It's a bit of a refresh from my childhood. The piracy is a crime commercial that used to try to scare us away from downloading music. Well, we actually finally have discovered who created that mysterious ad campaign years ago, and then also a funny twist to that story that we're going to go over. And we have a bit more news on top of that. So, this is our weekly update where I try to take all the news of the week, condense it in a 10-minute video, and let you guys view it, I guess. Just a simpler way for you to get your news without having to watch multiple creators create 10-minute videos on every topic. So like always, subscribe down below if you guys have the chance and like this video. It helps push it in the algorithm and get me even more viewers. Let's go ahead and get right into it with the first story here, which was actually something I covered a little bit earlier in the week that I just wanted to remind some of you that didn't have a chance to check out the video. It is now announced that Google will let users opt out of Android's upcoming side-loading restrictions. So if you don't know, Android Google TV was planning on restricting users from installing third-party apps where the developer had not confirmed their identity, essentially. Well, Google is saying that's not the case. We hear the backlash. You guys will be able to opt out of this restriction, which is obviously great news for the rest of us. Now on to the Nvidia Shield, which is still a lot of your favorite streaming device and rolled out years ago. This was one of the first devices I reviewed on this channel. It was when the Pro and the TV model came out. Well, Nvidia is still launching updates because it seems like they have rolled out a brand new update, which is adding security patch, several accessibility improvements, and fixes the audio bug inside the Disney Plus app. While this is not a huge update, it's honestly still impressive to see that Nvidia is even bothering still adding updates and improvements to this device. So that page took a little bit to load up here, but here are all the brand new enhancements in here. So if you want to check them out, I will try to link some of these articles down below for you guys to get even more information than this video. So on to the Fire TV Stick, which has been a controversial topic in recent months, pretty much. If you guys don't know, Amazon announced that there will be brand new Fire TV based streaming devices, but we don't know what that means. Is that just Fire TVs, like TVs with Fire OS built into it? And that's what AFTV News wanted to figure out here. So any new Android-based Fire TV Smart TV, which is all but guaranteed, we know that there's TVs coming out with Android-based system on it. This would technically let Amazon say, yeah, we brought you a new Fire OS device, but we all know that's not what we care about. We care about getting a brand new Fire Stick or Fire TV Cube that has Fire OS and not their terrible Fire TV Select, which, by the way, let's click on this right here. I just wanted to show you guys this right here because it's pretty funny. Is still by far the poorest reviewed Fire TV device ever. It's now up to 400 reviews with 3.7 stars. I know that's nowhere near 66,000 reviews, but that is a ridiculously low rating. And as you guys know, I did a video kind of mocking it, but the comments are not getting any better. Major backward step for Fire TV. The result of pushing unfinished products. 1 star, extremely disappointed. They're getting review bombs so bad. But that's what you get with some of these systems. So now AFTV News actually got a reply from Amazon after they asked the question, and this is what the reply was. We're a multi-OS company and Fire OS isn't going anywhere. Vega OS gives us the flexibility to create premium experiences at every price point. Notably on smaller, more affordable devices that run low memory. Yes, saving a few dollars. But also larger devices running complex AI programs, creating and managing our own operating system lets us innovate across the whole tech stack with our devices where we need it. We'll continue to choose the right OS job as we build devices. And for the vast majority of customers, they won't notice a difference from one OS to another. That's a flat out lie. Cap. Nobody believes that because the Fire Stick Select sucks. It sucks straight up. When I pressed for a more specific statement that directly addressed the concerns about the Android-based Fire TV Stick and Fire Cube lineup being a dead-end program, I was told, we're obviously not going to give you our roadmap, but our explanation for Vega has been pretty clear, delivering a Fire at a low cost with limited memory footprint. We'll have more products with Vega OS, and we'll continue to launch products with Fire OS in the foreseeable future. It sounds like a bunch of running around what people want to know, and that's whether they're just going Vega with Fire TV sticks. And I think that answer is pretty obvious. Yes. Maybe they'll release one more Fire OS based one, but Vega is the future. And right now, it sucks. And they released it before it was ready. But if you want something that does work, just so you guys know, in the description of my videos, I do include my favorite streaming devices, which, yes, the Firestick Max is still in there, but I've also included projectors that I like. Projectors are actually a really good option because they often run OSs. So this one, the Boom Mini, actually runs Android TV. I think it's Google TV, and you can sideload it and you get a projector at the same time. So that's a really good option. So guys, check out the description down below. I try to update it as soon as possible. But next up, we have this article by Torrent Freak, which includes multiple IPTV services being shut down. Now, it seems like there were 19 search and seizure warrants and 5 arrest warrants in these places, which I think are in Brazil. And 3 people were arrested. 2 individuals with outstanding warrants are still on the large. Now, the services that got shut down, I am not aware of. Maybe I've heard of OnlyFlix before, but that's probably because there's 10 services that share that name. But these are Despilla, Tyflex, and OnlyFlix. Like, they're not even trying anymore. These are just AI generated. Let's be honest. Now, when you look at their setup, it looks like they seized of assets totaling 12 million R, which is equal to 2.25 million USD. Quite a bit of money. And 118 websites and social media platforms were blocked and de-indexed from search engines. Now, this is part of their setup. So these were actually extreme cooler systems. Like, look how medieval these setups, you know what I mean? Like, these are jerry-rigged setups that are creating these IPTV services a lot of people watch. They also had these extinguisher balls just in case things light on fire. So you can see one hovering over top of these fans just in case something happens. And then it also looks like they seized a bunch of watches here as well. I mean, I like the look of some of those. I'd take it for a few of those. But it seems like these services were shut down and they're trying to push it. But one of the things here is the reason why this operation was called Operation Endpoint was because instead of targeting the individual end users, they actually they went after the servers, domains, and the monetization channels, which, yes, I've said that for years. Going after end users doesn't really do anything. Like putting random Joe Blow in jail or fining him because he wants to watch a football match on a Sunday does absolutely nothing to help society. If you really want to stop piracy, the best way, I've always said this, make it affordable and available. But they're not going to do that. So the only other way to do that is go after the end, the access point, the person creating it, the person running the servers. But even then, it's the money's available, people are going to take it. So do what you will with that one. But this next article is pretty funny because it's the piracy is a crime uh, video. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember this. I'm going to go ahead and mute the audio because I don't want to show it for piracy reasons, although technically I can. This is within copyright laws. So this was a popular commercial where it's you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't steal a purse. Would you steal music or videos? Why would you pirate? You know what I mean? It was such a dumb commercial. And they're such opposite things, right? One is pretty much a harmless crime, I would consider piracy. People have different opinions on that. I consider it pretty much harmless. So, pretty much, this guy on YouTube did a long investigation on this. So, he deserves all the credit. Nico DeLang, and the title of this was No One Knows Who Made This Anti-Piracy Ad Until Now. So, full credit to him. The video came out 11 days ago, and it looks like he figured out who created the article. So I'm not going to show this, but I will post this video link down below if you guys want to check it out. But there's a little bit more to this. They found out who created this, and it turns out it was filmed at a studio in Warner Bros. With collaboration with MPA. They don't know exactly who said, let's create this video, but they basically found the location of who created it. And it was filmed at a Warner Bros. Studio or MPA or something like that. So, yeah, that's not a big surprise. But this part is actually funny because one of the controversies with this was the fact that a website called Piracy is a Crime, which basically hosted that video on it, was using a stolen font. This was a bit of a controversy, I think a year ago or something like that. Now, it turns out this website had nothing to do with MPA. They just basically had permission to use uh, the video, and it turns out they might have actually been using a stolen font. Which, I mean, the irony kind of tells itself in that situation. But I found this funny when you go to this Piracy is a Crime website. So let's go up here. I'm gonna show you guys my browser here. We're gonna type it in right here. It takes you to YouTube instead now. And what video is it taking you to? The IT Crowd Series 2, Episode 3 Piracy Warning. So it's basically making fun of the Piracy is a Crime video. And I'm obviously not going to show it to you guys, but it's it's pretty hilarious. It's basically making fun of that website and that article. So they bought the domain and then now redirected anybody that goes to it to this video, making fun of the people that created that. Right? They're kind of doing like a bit of a turn on it, a twist on it, where instead of they're doing the extreme, like if you pirate content, you deserve this, and it's like a girl getting, you guys know. So yeah, it was pretty hilarious. I don't know who went out and did that, but good move to them. It was funny. Again, I'm going to link that down below as well in the description. So all these articles will be linked down below, as well as any products you guys want to check out from my Amazon shop. And as you guys can tell, the IPTV area is getting pretty sketchy nowadays. And I'm telling you, if you're a viewer of my channel, don't be that one viewer that does not use a VPN. If you're running a service, if you're doing anything online, anything, a VPN is the minimum amount of security. It's not the over the top security that you might want, but it does help you out a little bit. And it literally is cheaper than a cup of coffee. One of my subscribers, again, you can click on the link right here. One of my subscribers literally called me out and said, that's way cheaper than a cup of coffee, because I said it was the price of a cup of coffee. No, this is cheaper than a cup of coffee, at least from Starbucks, not from like the cheap places. But anyways, that's everything for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the news. A little bit longer of a video, but I wanted to make sure I cover everything. Like always, subscribe down below. Different format for quicker, more, fluent news for you guys, where you can get it all in one place. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.